Good evening, friends. Welcome you all. At the end of the ministers' meet on environment and climate sustainability, we have this press conference to be addressed by the Honorable Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Shri Bhupender Yadav ji, and the Secretary to the Department, Madam Leena Nandanji is also there, and Mr. C.P. Goyal, DG Forest is also here. First, we will have a small video on the last four working group meetings and today's proceeding. Please.
Dear friends, as we know that G20 Environmental and Climate Ministers meeting concluded in Chennai today. First of all, for this successful event, we give a thanks to the state of Tamil Nadu, the officers, those who are involved here, and providing a best facilities to conduct this G20 event. I also thanks to the all officers, those involved in the negotiation, and with the efforts of all G20 countries, the good outcome document came out of 68 paragraphs. 64 paragraphs are on consensus. The G20 ministers stand united in their commitment to create a sustainable and resilient future. Today, the meeting was started with the message of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, where Honorable Prime Minister emphasized India's stand for environment, the tradition of Tamil culture to preserve and conserve the nature. Prime Minister gave a specific reference of the wisdom of Tamil literature. And in G20 members commended India for its leadership and hard work in addressing the issue related to climate and environment and coming up with the chair summary and the outcome document. In this G20 presidency, there is a three key themes for the ECSWG. First, arresting land degradation, accelerating ecosystem restoration, and reaching biodiversity and water resource management. Second, promoting a sustainable and climate resilient blue economy. And third, encouraging resource efficiency and circular economy. Under the first theme, arresting land degradation, accelerating ecosystem restoration, and enriching biodiversity, the presidency document on Gandhinagar Implementation Roadmap and Gandhinagar Information Platform for strengthening the G20 Global Land Initiative was launched. The roadmap to enhance mutual collaboration among participating countries to accelerate ecological ecosystem restoration of the forest fire impacted areas and mining affected areas. Under the same theme, Presidency also released the compendiums of best practices on the following three topics. First, restoration of mining affected areas. This document is a compilation of knowledge and best practices on ecological restoration of mining affected areas. Second, restoration of forest fire affected areas. The compendium covers models for planning, prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery from the forest fire, including community initiatives undertaken by countries in this regard. And third, on water management, the compendium of the best practices on water management will enhance knowledge exchange among G20 countries as well as non-G20 countries to conserve water and restore and develop water-related ecosystem through sustainable development approaches. Under the theme of resource efficiency and circular economy, 4 presidency documents were released. First, knowledge exchange on circular economy in steel sector. This document highlights four key strategies on transition toward a more sustainable steel sector which may serve as a blueprint for net zero pathway for the steel industry, reduce resource utilization and utilize wastage. Second, knowledge exchange on circular bioeconomy. This document expands on the opportunities, innovation, best practice and successful intervention, especially related to the utilization of municipal and industrial waste, agriculture residue and non-food crops from degraded land which are vital to the growth of the bioeconomy sector. And third, knowledge exchange on extended producer responsibility for circular economy. And this document reflects a compilation of the different EPR approaches adopted by various countries which can be leveraged by policymakers in framing and implementing EPR policies in their respective countries. Presidency also issued a document on resource efficiency and circular economy industry coalition. This document provides the background and context for the establishment of resource efficiency and circular economy industry coalition, and we know that it is an achievement in this G20 that yesterday it was initiated under the India's G20 presidency. It presents a review of the current landscape on circularity, including current baseline, the major challenges faced and potential opportunity to increase the adoption of circularity by the industries. Apart from that, there is a high-level outcome document on Chennai high-level principle for sustainable and resilient blue ocean-based economy. Again, I say in the blue economy theme, the outcome document on Chennai high-level principle for a sustainable and resilient blue ocean-based economy. And under this same theme, there are two presidency documents. First, G20 report on action against marine plastic litter. This report is rich repository of knowledge about the implemented policy, achievement, challenges and best practices contributed by 30 countries in their fight against the passing issue of marine plastic pollution. Second, technical study on accelerating the transition to a sustainable and resilient blue economy. This study identifies various approaches taken by G20 countries to the blue ocean-based economy and identify measures to foster and facilitate collective G20 members' action for preservation and sustainable utilization of ocean resources. Friends, we know that India assumed this G20 presidency on 1st December 2022, but our work had already commenced long back. The ECSWG issue note highlighted key principles for addressing climate change and fostering sustainable development. The first three G20 ECSWG meetings took place in Bengaluru, Gandhinagar and Mumbai, which saw active participation from the delegate, demonstrating their support and dedication to the outlined objective. In the line of our Honorable Prime Minister's vision to promote community action for sustainable lifestyle, mega beach cleanup activity was organized which saw participation of 14 G20, 6 invitee countries and 13 Indian coastal state and UTs. The concluding meeting in Chennai saw the highest participation of ECSWG with participation from 34 ministers from G20 country and guest countries and total about 225 delegates. The ECSWG journey under India presidency concluded with adoption of a outcome document and chair summary in today's meeting. Now, in today's meeting, I have already informed you that the meeting began with the video message of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. He expressed his confidence on G20 countries joining hand to tackle the climate and environmental challenges in holistic way in the true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, One Family and One Future. Distinguished leaders from the international organizations like UNEP, UNFCCC, CBD, and UNCCD and COP28 delivered the keynote address. Thereafter, presidency documents that were developed under various themes were launched. In the concluding session, the G20 countries adopted the outcome document and the chair summary. The ministers will now proceed for the excursion to the UNESCO Heritage Monument Site and Pride of the India, Mahabalipuram, which will be followed by the dinner today's the G20 meeting will be ended with that program. Immediately there are some other outcome also with this G20 meeting, that in the total apart from this 4 meeting, India's G20 presidency held over 50 in-person and virtual line-by-line negotiation session in order to build a consensus and find a common landing zone while taking into consideration different perspectives. The launch of industry-led resource efficiency and circular economy industry coalition marked another milestone under India's G20 presidency. This G20 ministers appreciated India presidency for launching this REC-EIC. We also created a wealth of knowledge in working group. I have already detailed, I told you about the 10 presidency document. In the last, I want to say that we followed an inclusive and integrated approach by inviting and taking cognizance of the perspective of invitee countries and international organizations as well. Any other questions? If you want to seek any clarification, I am ready to reply here. Before that, we want to show you the video also.
G20 presidency began on December 1st, 2022, with the task of building on past achievements. In the lead-up, the chair of the Environment and Climate Sustainability Working Group conducted meetings with G20 and invitee countries to discuss environment and climate change challenges the world is facing. The priority areas the ECSWG would address emerged as arresting land degradation, accelerating ecosystem restoration, and enriching biodiversity, promoting a sustainable and climate-resilient blue economy, encouraging resource efficiency and circular economy. The ECSWG's mission aligned with India's G20 presidency's vision of reflecting inclusivity, ambition, and action-oriented approaches in tackling climate and environmental issues. ECSWG's journey commenced in Bengaluru from 9th to 11th February, discussing global perspectives on ecosystem restoration, emphasizing mining and forest fire-affected regions. Technical presentations on the 3 themes to introduce the topics and identify the major issues in these areas took place. The draft building blocks on outcome documents were introduced, and inputs were sought from G20 countries to build consensus on the contours of the final outcomes. Thematic visit to Bannerghatta National Park showcased India's restoration efforts. The second ECSWG meeting in Gandhinagar from 27th to 29th March progressed the outcome documents, emphasizing water resource management and the other priority areas. The G20 nations shared best practices of integrated water management. And delegates' visit to Adalaj Vav showcased India's ancient water management practices. During the Mumbai meeting, 21st to 23rd May, ECSWG engaged in intense in-person negotiations, working towards finalizing the outcome documents. India's G20 presidency hosted the successful G20 Oceans Dialogue, and the delegates joined the mega beach cleanup on Juhu Beach, which also took place across 20 countries. By May, a pre-final draft of the outcome document was circulated. This was followed by more than 40 virtual meetings with G20 countries, covering 300 hours approximately, spread across May to July to build consensus on the outcome documents. In Chennai, the final meeting culminated after 2 intense days of deliberation, centered on reaching consensus on outcomes and collaborating on compendiums, studies, and knowledge platforms. The ECSWG's principles of consensus, inclusivity, and action-oriented approaches strengthen the G20's united resolve to tackle climate and environmental challenges. India's G20 presidency stands as a testament to the global commitment to combating climate change and preserving the environment.
Yes.
So can you just elaborate? You said 64, there was a consensus. In the rest 4, what were the hurdles in not having a consensus? And also the issues?
There's nothing hurdle. These are the discussion where consensus is not there, it is on the chair summary. And as soon as all that outcome document, you will visit from our G20 website, it is available there.
So what is India's position on climate finance? Does the country expect any positive movement towards access to finance for the developing countries? Because this has been a major deadlock. So can you just please comment on that?
India's stand is very much clear that developing countries need a climate finance and technology transfer to coming on the same level playing field. And developed countries already pledged to provide $100 billion. That was discussion in the earlier climate finance and COP also. India feels that earlier whatever the pledge by the developed country must be fulfilled, and definition of finance must be clarified by the COP, and our stand is the same as we are discussed earlier.
So what is the India taking forward from these meetings to the global negotiations like COP28, sir? Ahead of that, what exactly, because is this outcome document is equivalent to a communique? Why the communique is not being released?
Communique is already released. It will be on website. You will watch on that.
So what are the tangible outcomes you expect, say, a year down the line or 2 years down the line from the REC-IC industry coalition that's been established? Any tangible outcomes?
Resource efficiency and circular economy, which will be the boost for the future economy also. Government of India already committed and already announced budget announcement also about to waste to wealth. And we think that reuse, recycle and reproduce is the thing where we will work for the future perspective of this country, and it is a need of the world also.
Renewable energy targets to be expanded, renewable energy deployment to be expanded and triple.
India is among the one country in G20 who achieved its renewable targets. In NDCs after the Paris Agreement, we fixed a target for 165 gigawatt, which we have already achieved 9 years before. Even in our enhanced NDC, we submitted that non-fossil fuel renewable energy, we will achieve the 50% target. So India track record is very good. All things will be discussed and that will become before you. Not today. It will be put on our website after 1 hour. There are some issues like some issues about the energy and some target oriented issues which are in the 4 paras. Otherwise, everything is on consensus, and the major achievement of this G20 is that environment, land degradation, blue economy, the new issues is to be covered, and the forest issues like forest is also be covered, and there is a common consensus on all these issues. So 95% there is a consensus. We have already worked on that. Our Forest Survey of India has regularly monitored all these things. No new target is required. It's an approach-oriented work.
Sir, getting a common line on for GST among G20 countries was one of the objectives. Have we been able to achieve that?
There is a negotiation is going on. It will be taken up in next COP28.
And just as far as targets go and pathways go, was there any consensus for any kind of ambition raising among the G20 countries?
All 65 paras based on the action-oriented approach, you will find that.
Thank you.
Restoration for mines is stuff you mentioned in this book. So, what does Government of India has any new plan to bring some new practices to?
We are working on that, and it is based on the common experiences, innovation, capacity, share. So G20 countries will come together and they exchange their views, and we are working on that.
Hello, can you hear me? So we have seen that the EU minister has.
Please provide.
Speak to the mic.
Yes, thank you. So we have seen that the EU minister has criticized the outcome of the meeting, and also we've heard that some of the countries have refused to agree to the commitment. So just your overall.
The outcome of the meeting is there is a 64 paras, which is the outcome document. Rest in the chair summary.
So in the exchange of best practices between the nations, did you talk about this aspect where there are certain nations where it's strictly implemented, where if there's an industry that is polluting or found indulging in some kind of damage to the environment, so there will be fines and strict penalties levied on them. So any discussions in that regard?
Every country has their best practices. We are also having the best practices. All things are sharing with each other, the earlier documents also, and whatever of the consensus, it shows in the document. Thank you very much for the Chennai praise, especially for you are giving a very positive coverage, and we are very thankful to again the city of Chennai, the administration for giving a full support to conducting this successful G20 Environment Minister Conference here in Chennai. Thank you, Chennai, to all of you.